Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox. Welcome back to my channel. All right, you guys, today let's talk about what's happening down in Kentucky with Breonna Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker. Let's talk about these vaccines they got coming up. Let's talk about old girl Nancy getting her hair done. And let's talk about the CaresAct a little bit more. All right, let's get to it, shall we? All right, you guys, so first story, Breonna Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, has opened up a case. He is suing the city of Louisville and its officers and many others for immunity against his actions on the unfortunate night when Breonna Taylor was killed, when there were 3 officers who were conducting a no-knock warrant. They were at the wrong apartment. If you guys remember, the story goes that when they rammed the door in, Kenneth Walker, who was asleep with his girlfriend Breonna, woke up, called out to find out who it was. They never answered and shot a warning shot. Well, that warning shot supposedly hit one of the officers, Brett Hankinson, hit him in the leg supposedly, and that opened up them to shoot at him and Breonna Taylor, who were in the bed, and ended up killing her. Hit her quite a number of times, I don't remember, but hit her quite a number of times, and that is where she died. After that happened, he was then arrested for assault and attempted murder. They tried to say that he tried to kill the police who was in his home, wrongly in his home. All right. Of course, as the story got out and people started to find out what happened, Kentucky, the Louisville Police Department quickly dropped those charges because it was apparent that they were in the wrong place. Not only that, but the persons that they were looking for were already in jail. So now they have a mess on their hands. They have killed an innocent woman who was asleep in her bed with her boyfriend, who, by the way, was a licensed gun owner, has never been in any trouble, doesn't have a record at all. They essentially broke into these people's house, almost killed both of them, ended up killing the girl, and now Kenneth Walker has decided that he is going to sue the city, and with the hopes of doing this, that they will not be able to recharge him in the future should anything come up. He's using the stand my ground law that is active in Kentucky, where you're able to protect yourself if there is an immediate threat against your life. Okay, they were in his home. To me, it sounds like he has a good case, but I don't know what the fuck goes on in Kentucky out there. I mean, I'm still shocked that Brett Hankinson, Miles Crossgrove, and Sergeant Jonathan Mattingly have not been arrested. Now, one of them have been fired, I believe. It was Mattingly. I'm sorry, that was hit in the leg, not Hankinson. Hankinson, I believe, was fired. And but other than that, Crossgrove and Mattingly have been put on administrative duty. They are still working. But other than that, nothing has happened. We have seen numerous protests out there. We have seen people getting arrested left and right. We have seen even the mother go and talk to whoever she spoke to out there, who they had led her to believe that, you know, it was going to happen, that these men were going to at least be charged, and yet and still it's been almost 6 months. This happened back on March 13th. We are now on September 3rd, 4th, whatever today is, and still nothing. I just don't get it. I just really don't believe that it will happen out there. But yet and still, this case, Kenneth Walker, I think he has a strong case, and I think that he will be successful in it. While I was reading up on it, Walker's lawyer was saying that he hadn't even received the ballistics report. They're still trying to find out for sure if Kenneth Walker's bullet was even the one that hit Mattingly in the leg. Okay, they're saying that it could be a case of friendly fire, crossfire, and that he may not even have hit them. So 6 months later, still no ballistic report. What is the holdup? I'm sure there's quite a bit of red tape out there. It has become a political matter on top of it just being downright wrong, that what they did to this woman, this black woman who was an EMT and wasn't doing anything illegal. There's even a story going around. I didn't read up on it, so I can't give you much information on it, but I did see that there's a story that her ex-boyfriend who had been in some trouble in the past. They tried to tell him that they would drop some charges on him if he would agree to testify that Breonna Taylor was involved in some kind of way in his illegalities of the past. I don't know what's going on down there in Kentucky. It just seems like with all of the attention that this case has gotten, that they would have done something by now. It's almost like the Attorney General is adamant not to press charges, even though it's a clear case of you guys was in the fucking wrong house and you shot and killed this girl. You guys, even if we were to remove the racial aspect of it, it's clear that it was wrong that these people were in this woman's place, wrongfully so, and shot and killed her. That I would feel this way about any race. It's ridiculous that the police have been able to get away with murder, basically. That is what's happening out there in Kentucky right now. And this case is still very, very hot, and we will still continue to talk about it until we get some justice for Breonna Taylor. All right, you guys, so the Rona check-in. How have you guys been? I'm good. My family is good. Hopefully you and yours are well. If you're not now, that you will be in the future. So they say that the coronavirus numbers are going back up. I think we expected that with the children returning to school, the colleges, universities back in school. There was going to be a reaction from all of these people gathering. And now, even though the numbers had started to drop a little bit, we were in the 40s. I think we are back climbing back up slowly into the 50 and 60,000s per day. Right now, I think United States is like the third country with the highest amount of numbers affected by COVID-19, you guys. So, yeah, still not under control, still bad news everywhere. We even found out yesterday that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and his entire family, I think his girlfriend, or did he marry that lady? Yeah, he did. His wife and his 2 daughters. You guys know that they recently, they have young kids, and they recently had a new baby, and the babies both have COVID-19. So the entire household has been affected. And just a reminder that it's just not a joke, you guys. I mean, we know that already, even though there are still some people out there that say the numbers are overstated and that it is nothing more than, you know, some sort of conspiracy for us to be afraid and to, you know, I can't give any more energy to that right now, you guys. But anyway, yes, so coronavirus numbers are spiking, or going back up. I shouldn't say spiking, but are definitely going back up. Dr. Fauci has warned that with the Labor Day weekend coming up this weekend, on Monday, that people continue to be safe and make sure that they don't become relaxed as everybody is celebrating the holiday. This is the official end to the summer, the last holiday before we get into the colder months, and we know that people like to celebrate it. I'm just hoping that people celebrate it as smartly and as safely as they can. I know that most of the schools have been having issues with the kids, you know, contracting the virus, and they've been having to sporadically change the schedules or go from week to week to let the parents know exactly what is going to be happening that week, whether or not they're going to be online or if they're going to be you know, in person, or some hybrid version of the both. I was looking into my comments last week, and you guys were all talking about, I hadn't even thought about people who have very young kids who cannot get onto the internet by themselves and definitely have to have the help. I was feeling sorry for a lot of the parents who work, okay, who are not stay at home, not, you know, on the quarantine order or whatever, or essential workers or what have you, and they have young kids that have to go to class virtually, kindergarten, first, second, third grade. Now I'm finding out that there are some businesses, some jobs that are offering family. I don't know if it's if it's considered like family leave. What is it that I'm thinking of? You guys know what it's called. The same thing that you go on when you have a sick family member, or you're sick, or you go on medical, Family Medical Leave Act, FMLA. I'm not sure if it's a version or a, a segment of FMLA where you're able to take some time off so that you can help your child with school, because what else are you going to do? I know they do have some daycares that are offering, you bring your child and they can all go to class here and there's somebody that's helping the children that way. But not everybody is trusting, taking their child to a daycare. I mean, that's another situation where you've got a bunch of people up underneath a roof. And, so it's just bad. My mind hadn't even thought out so far of the children that actually will need the help and need to have their parents helping them, and parents who may not be that technologically savvy in the first place. I mean, it's a lot. So my heart definitely goes out to you, and also goes out to the teaching staff and the administrators and all those who have been kind of given, a career path that they did not foresee, did not sign up for. People who genuinely love to teach and are dedicated to their job. Well, I imagine they just see this as another challenge that they will face, and they'll have to get through it one way or the other. But I still feel like, we need to give so much respect and honor to those people who have to do this job that is just constantly changing for them. They may not even be clear on what it is that is expected of them. The stress of just trying to help families get through this when they don't really know. My heart goes out to all of the people that are involved right now. It is definitely a lot, but I think that as time goes on, hopefully, my hope is that, the classes are getting smoother, getting onto the links to get into these classrooms, these Zoom chats or whatever it is that they're holding these classes. I'm hoping that it's getting easier and that everybody is kind of getting into a rhythm now. It's been a couple of weeks. For a lot of places, at least down in the South, I know that there's still some places that I think up north, like New York area, they haven't gone back to school yet. But, I'm just hoping that it's starting to work out for you guys. And, my sincerest prayer is that by January, things will be back to semi-normal, when everybody can kind of get back to the classes. This is a perfect segue. It may be semi-normal because, according to YSAP and his administration, they are saying that there will be a COVID vaccine available to the masses. Available to essential workers, hospital workers, caretakers of the elderly, that type of group by the end of October. How convenient that it will be right before the elections. You guys know about Operation Warp Speed. I told you guys about that. What that tells me is that they are rushing this vaccine to the front because YSAP wants to make sure that he can put that on his resume right before the elections, that he got a vaccine out for you guys. Now, I don't even know who the fuck gonna be taking these vaccines. I mean, I guess if you work in the medical field, I don't know how much of a choice that you would have. If you're dealing with a lot of patients, I feel like maybe the hospitals will make that something that's a requirement. But for those of you guys who have choices, and I may be wrong about that, so if you work in that field and then you can correct me and let me know. But for others who don't have to take the vaccine, how do you feel about this? Already people was a little leery about fooling with a vaccine to begin with, but when you find out that they've rushed a vaccine for what I feel like is a political reason, I mean, how much can you trust that vaccine? Okay, they're saying that the vaccine will not go or will not be completed. The phase 3 trials will not be completed. So they're in phase 3 right now, and it's being tested on some people, a group of people, a large group of people, but they still don't know the results of it. So are you willing to take a vaccine where they don't really have the completed trials done? Okay, they're saying that it will be available to the masses by the end of December. Okay, so going into the new year. So that's why I was saying that maybe by January in the new semester, maybe the kids can be back in school. But it doesn't make me feel like it's something that I would be all that comfortable taking. And then on top of that, I already was feeling like I was going to have to do my research on it. But really, how much research can you do on a vaccine that's brand new? Like, there's no research to do. Either you're going to trust the vaccine or you not. And the fact that the CDC is being controlled right now by the Trump administration, I don't even feel like I can 100% trust that they're, because whatever is being put out by the CDC is what the Trump administration is telling them to do. Remember, they now have to report to the administration. They, and whatever the administration tells them, that is what they then must say. Who would have ever thought that health issues would become so politicized? But all this happening in an election year, it was inevitable. Anyway, you guys, this vaccine, they say that there are 3 companies that are within this whole Operation Warp Speed: Moderna, Pfizer, and AstraZeneca. Okay, those are the 3 leading companies that they believe will have this vaccine. Even Dr. Fauci says that he can comfortably say by the end of the year that these vaccines will be available for everybody. But yeah, you guys, I don't know. I just don't know. They have made some advances in the treatment of coronavirus. They found, besides the, remdesivir, I believe it's called. I'll put it on the screen. That is supposed to help severely ill patients from COVID-19. They're now saying that steroids, which is like widely available, they're saying that steroids is also helpful to those who are severely ill. Not necessarily for the elderly though, so they're watching what they give to the elderly, but evidently the steroids tamps down the immune system. Look, I read this, so don't shoot the messenger if she got it a little wrong, you guys, but I guess it keeps the body from overreacting to COVID, because from what I understand, you don't die from COVID, you die from your body's reaction to the virus and how it doesn't know what to do with this unknown virus. Okay, that's why it's a novel virus. Look at me, I'm a doctor. So, as time goes on, they'll come up with new things that will help treat the virus. I'm fine with that. Okay, people have been taking steroids for years and years and years, so obviously it's safe enough, but this vaccine is something totally different. Okay, so you guys let me know what you think about that. Would you trust it if it wasn't under this administration? I'm willing to say that I don't trust it even more because I don't trust this administration. So it's like, you feel like you kind of stuck in this place where, what do? It's sort of like the same as when someone has cancer. You know that chemotherapy kills all of these cells in your body. It's trying to just attack the cancerous cells, but it also attacks the cells that you need, and that sometimes chemo kills the people before cancer does. So it's almost like this decision that you have to make, like, should I take chemo because I have cancer and the doctors are all telling me that that's what I need to do, or should I try to ride out this cancer thing and not take chemo and possibly live longer because, So it's the same thing. Like, what I'm supposed to do with this damn coronavirus that don't nobody know shit about. Okay, now you're trying to hoist this vaccine on me and make me think that it was good for me when you don't even know. Fuck, you ain't even finished the trials. Yeah, y'all let me know what you think about that vaccine. Will you be taking it? And also, for those of you guys who work in the medical field, let me know if that is even a choice that you guys have. Y'all let me know if you even plan on, fooling around with that vaccine. I mean, do you have a choice to fool around with that vaccine? All right, you guys, let's switch gears here. Let's talk about the CaresAct. So there's really nothing really happening with the CaresAct. We know that YSAP did sign all these executive orders to get things to happen. But as of now, I'm not sure if they're happening. For example, I'm not sure if people are getting the extra $400 that he signed into, signed the executive order saying that they would get that on top of their unemployment, their state unemployment. I'm not sure if that's happening. So you guys will let me know out there if, you began to get that. I know there's some of you guys who told me that you haven't even gotten your unemployment from the original CARES Act that started from when we first went on quarantine back in March. Okay, so there's still people that's waiting on that money. And I actually had a friend who was waiting and finally got their back pay. So it did happen. It just took a long time. So, I mean, hopefully you guys will be able to get your money eventually. I know that's ain't saying much. Expecting a lot of money don't do shit when you got bills that's due right now, and you got to pay this shit right now. Like, what am I supposed to do right now while I'm waiting on EDD to finally get my fucking money to me? That's what's happening there. So I don't know if that is happening. The only thing that I do believe that has happened is one of the executive orders was a payroll tax cut. They're saying that there are over 1 million federal workers who will now be getting a payroll tax cut from now to the end of the year. And that in 2021, from January to April, they will then have to pay that payroll tax back. So it will be doubled for those first 4 months to replace what they didn't take out for September to December. To me, what difference does it make? Take the shit out now so nobody has to pay it back then. How much money is it anyway? I think they said on a person that makes $40,000, it would be $6 and something cents every week. Okay. I mean, yes, that can make a difference, but still, if you were to ask me, I would just be like, fuck that payroll tax. All right. They're also saying that he stopped the evictions. So when the original CARES Act ran out, the end of July, the evictions were able to get started again. Okay. Until he signed that executive order that actually is supposed to stop landlords from evicting their tenants all the way up to, through the end of December. And then I guess in January, you either better have however many months of rent you are behind, you better have it then, because the rent is still accumulating. It is not frozen. That's a point that I had to make clear for myself, because when COVID first hit, my husband was furloughed and he was off for some time. So we actually looked into calling our mortgage company and seeing if we could freeze our mortgage. Okay, because that's kind of what the wording was, the verbiage that you were hearing, that these companies were just freezing it until all this shit passed, and then they was gonna pick it back up. So I called the mortgage company, and when they first told me, they said, oh yes, just like, freezing your mortgage, and when you can pick it back up in however many, I think they gave you a 3-month or a 6-month option, then you would pick it up, and then they would tack. I thought they were going to tack those 3 or 6 months onto the back end of the loan. Okay. Kind of like when you get an extension on your car loan, like if you're paying a car note and you can't pay it, they allow you to put it on the back end. So if your car note was to end in May of 2025, then now it's going to end in June of 2025, or 6 months, then it would be November of 2025, right? So that's kind of how I was thinking that it was going to be done. So I got the information from the people, and I just said, okay, we weren't sure if we were going to do it. Okay. Then we were like, let's go on and do it. Even though we didn't necessarily feel like we needed to, it was like, well, I mean, if we can get a 6-month break on this damn mortgage and put it on the back end, in the meantime, we might sell our house, and then we won't even have to fucking worry about it because it'll get taken up into the loan of the new purchase. We were like, okay, let's go on and do it. So I call them back. And then now this time it's changed. Now telling me they're going to put the mortgage on hold. Okay. For however 3 or 6 months. Okay. Once the 3 or 6 months is over, then they will contact me to find out if I am now able to pay my loan. If I say that I cannot still pay my loan, then there's going to do a whole restructuring of this loan, and that they are going to now like kind of start me over. I don't know if it's going to be 20, 30 years, 15 years. We only have 15 years, less than 15 years left on our house. So I'm just like, so now you telling me that I might have to start over, and it might have to be a 30-year lease, or, you know, or I'm gonna have to, they were like, yeah, you could either do it that way, or you could pay all of the mortgages that you would be behind on. If you could pay it all together, then it would just bring your loan back up current. Or, you know, they started giving me all these scenarios, and I was like, wait a minute, hold on. Now, when I talked to you guys before, you guys told me that it would just freeze the loan and that we would put it on the back end. They said, well, yeah, we could possibly do something like that too. Like we could freeze it, and then on the back end, so at the very end of your loan, basically I was going to have a balloon payment. Okay. Or they would then make another loan for me. So that would be like a second at the end of this loan, and I would still have 3 to 6 months to have to pay at the end of the loan. So do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm sitting there talking to the people, and I'm going, well, that is not, how is that helping people? Okay, now you telling us that we got to restructure and redo this whole loan when people have already, you know, already halfway through their loan, and now you're telling them that they might have to go back to a 30 fucking year loan or a 20-year loan or something. I was like, why is it that the government didn't just freeze everything, meaning that everything halted, okay? Everything stopped until we got past COVID, because I've told you guys plenty of times that the trickle down is the problem. The fact that I can't pay my rent means that my landlord now cannot pay their mortgage, which means that the mortgage companies are not getting their money. You know, everybody is affecting the other person. So if they would have just froze everything, then everything would have just been on hold. Okay, and I'm not saying that shit got to be on hold forever. You know, maybe we could have just froze it out to the end of this year, and then January, you know what, let's pick it back up, and everybody. But now that but see, America's not going to do that, because this is a whole capitalist society and all that, and it's all about the fucking almighty dollar. But it's still not helping people, because now people who have decided to wait and pay their rent or their mortgage or whatever, they still got to pay that fucking money back. And if you ain't got $1,200, then how the fuck you gonna have 56 or 58 and 65 or $7,200 when it's time? You know, so none of that helps you. The only thing that would have helped is if everything would have just frozen, if everything would have stopped, you know, then we, you know, and I don't know if that's just me being super ambitious or something, but it just makes sense to me. Like, that makes sense to me. Nobody would be having to be under the pressure of paying anything if everything just froze. So anyway, long story short, that is a long story. We didn't end up doing it because we didn't really have to do it. You know, we were just feeling like, okay, we can get 3 or 6 months. But then when I got to sit there talking to the people, I was like, this is not how you guys explained it. And I'm afraid that they may have confused a lot of other people who actually did sign on to do this whole. Now, if you just had to do it, you just had to do it. You didn't have a choice. But it just was misleading, or the information wasn't correct when it was first presented to me. And even the way they have it on the website, to me, was confused. It made it seem like everything was on hold. So anyway, you guys, the eviction, I said all of that to say that the evictions have been stopped till the end of the year, but the landlords still have to pay their mortgage. Okay. So they're in a tight ass spot because, you know, most landlords are mom and pops. It's not these big corporations that owns these huge ass, you know, apartment complexes. A lot of them are 2-unit, 6-unit, 10-unit, 20-unit owners who cannot afford to pay all of their tenants' rent to the mortgage company, you know, when their tenants aren't paying. And so now the landlords are in this mess because now the mortgage people can come after the landlord. And so it's just a mess, you guys. It would have been stopped if they would have just froze everything. So that's all I was trying to say about that. So even though the renter is being protected, it ain't gonna help shit if the landlord loses the damn property and then everybody got to go. I mean, in the short run, that helps people. In the long run, not necessarily so. So they're saying that the landlords, there's some association that is going to be challenging and suing the government about that order because, you know, this is going to be just a nail in the coffin for them. The CDC has been involved with this whole no evictions order because they are saying that there's about 20 million Americans that are at a risk of losing their homes. And if they are, then we're going to have some 20 million, you know, give or take some, who are out there overcrowding shelters, okay, getting sicker, okay, straining the already very strained health system. So the CDC is saying, yeah, we don't need them to be evicted. So let's keep this. Yeah, so you guys, now everything is all intertwined. Like I said, it's so politicized that when's the last time you heard about the damn CDC getting involved with motherfuckers getting evicted? You know, that is what's happening with the CaresAct. Y'all let me know, like I said, if you're getting the $400 extra. As far as I know, I don't think that has happened yet, but just let me know. And then you guys, something very trivial, and I'm just gonna say it because you guys asked me to talk about it. So evidently Nancy Pelosi was going to be on some news show one evening in San Francisco. Okay, so she went to a hair salon. There was a hair salon, I think the name of it was E-Salon or something like that. And she spoke with a girl who rented a booth there, asked her if she could get her, you know, if she could do her hair. The person said, yes, come on in. You will be the only person here. There is nobody else scheduled and we will get your hair done. So evidently she went, she got her hair done. Violation of some San Francisco rules, you know, when it pertains to COVID-19. Evidently, in San Francisco, you have to cut hair outside. I don't know what the fuck you supposed to be sitting outside getting your hair done, but that is the rule out there. Like, that sounds ridiculous to me, but I understand in California, shit is way more, you know, they got way more cases, and so, you know, they may do things a little differently. But I would imagine that ain't too many people cutting no fucking hair outside. I mean, they probably just not doing that. She was the only person in there. She didn't have a mask on. There must have been a camera in there or something, or somebody caught her in there getting her hair done without the mask. And, you know, of course, the Republicans are so outraged. This was on Fox News, by the way. They saying that she was disgusting and that, you know, she was a hypocrite, that she was in there, you know, not paying attention to the order and not wearing her mask and being unsafe and blah, 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 de blue. There are many on the Republican side who will tell you that you shouldn't even be wearing a fucking mask and that is against your rights and blah, blah, de blah, de blah, blue. So she was contacted by the press, I guess, her team, and they told the press that, look, when she contacted the lady told her that she could come in. She didn't demand that the place was closed down. She didn't demand to have service, that she was the only one in there or anything like that. The woman told her that she could come in and get her hair done and nobody else would be there. Now, that doesn't answer to the fact that they should be cutting hair outside, but, you know, it's just the two of them. I guess she felt safe enough that it was going to be okay. But she was caught on video. So now this, all of this. They've even decided that it was classist and that she was an elitist. And that was the reason why she was able to get her hair done and there not be any ramifications of her not wearing the mask. The owner of the salon was not there. Okay. The story is so confusing because at one point the owner says that, you know, the girl had her come in because there was nobody else scheduled. But then at another point, the owner says something along the lines of, you know, it wasn't right that she was in there. She wasn't able to do anybody else's hair while Nancy was in there. So it's just like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know. article that I read was confusing. But yet and still, they are going to make a big deal out of the fact that Nancy Pelosi did not have her mask on and she was getting her hair done indoors. My California rock stars that's doing hair, my stylists and whatnots out there, are y'all really doing hair outside? Like, I just can't see it happening. Okay, especially from where I'm from. Okay, parts of Los Angeles that I'm from, you don't need to be outside, especially not certain times of the day. So, like, I mean, y'all just put me up on game and let me know what's going on out there. But that's all we got on Let's Talk About It today, you guys. Let me get on off of here. Get to the more fun subjects on top of the blogs. All right, you guys, that's it. I hear the mailman coming down my street. Fuck me, child. It's only 1 o'clock. Oh, shit, it's Maury time. Look at, there go my mail lady right there. Okay. Let me get on. Make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'm It's Rox. The channel is for It's Rox, and everything else I do will be in the bottom bar. All right. So I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I plan on doing the same. Till next time, rock stars. Bye.